The Apple Watch is due a design upgrade, and I genuinely think that this is a very much needed thing. Now, the Apple Watch has been a vital part of the Apple ecosystem since 2014, and I genuinely absolutely love my Apple Watch. I've been using them since they've come out, and as a kid, I was so fascinated by them. The way that the watch worked, it was integrating with your phone. So cool that you could see messages on your wrist. You could digitally see the time. You could play games. You could call people. It felt very, very cool. Now, obviously, over time, as I've got older, this effect has worn off, and I just don't really, use my watch the same as I once did. But I genuinely do think that the Apple Watch has been, a vital part of a lot of people's ecosystem. This is why this is the #1 best-selling watch, because people like the way it, integrates together and it works so well. But we've had the same design since the Series 1. And what I mean by this is, obviously the front has changed. The front screen has got massive. Since the first ever Apple Watch, it's got big. It hasn't stayed the same. It's had slight upgrades. It's become a little bit more rounded, and it's also got a bigger screen in the front. It has some speaker changes, microphone changes, water resistant upgrades. I'm not saying that the Apple Watch hasn't had upgrades. It definitely has. But the design has stayed very much the same. We haven't had it squared off like the iPhone. We haven't had any circular Apple Watches. We haven't had any, thin Apple Watches. Apple have kept it very much the same. They haven't brought out a Fitbit style watch. They've just made it very, very much the same. Now, obviously, we have the Apple Watch Ultra, but that's like an £850 watch. Can't say that's something that's a design upgrade. The Apple Watch has had a design upgrade, because that's a completely separate watch. That's not part of the series lineup. I think if they made these Apple Watches a bit more squared off, it would make it so that they can fit more components in the watch. They can fit a bigger battery. It would fit nicer on people's wrists. Whereas, the circular one's great, but I don't think they can fit as many components in here. I think that's why, the struggle for battery life is real. Now, compared to some Garmin watches, you get a day out of this, and that's if you use it lightly. Now, when I used to use this watch heavily, it would sometimes die on me. Now, I've got the 42mm, the smallest one you can get. I've got small wrists, but I like the size of the watch. It isn't bad. But I do think that sometimes the battery life is a bit terrible. I mean, a day out of a watch is kind of crazy, especially if you're doing sleep tracking, which I did it originally with my Apple Watch Series 6. I did some sleep tracking, and it works well because the charger charges the watch quick. But I don't think that's the point. I think 2 days should at least be the minimum, just because a lot of people want to just wear their watch for 2 days without having to worry about putting it on a charger, taking it off the charger, forgetting to put it on. Because I have had days where I've been in such a rush to get out the door that I've taken this off my wrist, put it on to charge, and I've completely forgotten about it on the way there. Now, I love having my watch on. I love having it, to skip music, turn things up and down, quickly see notifications at a glance. But when I don't have it on, it kind of feels weird, and you kind of feel naked without a watch on. And I think that that's why it's so important that if these watches had 2 days battery life, I'm not saying I would keep it on for 2 days, but I'm saying that it would prevent me from possibly taking it off. I could do sleep tracking, I could wake up in the morning, I've got 50%, oh perfect, I can use 25% in the morning, 25% in the evening, then when I get back, I can put it on charge, whilst I'm in the shower doing stuff, and then you can start again. You can then put it back on your wrist when you go to sleep, you can then start the day all over again. Do I think this is going to happen? Probably not. Apple are probably going to focus this more on the Apple Watch Ultra. But I do think that they should try and focus this also on the regular series, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the ones that are coming up. I do think they should try and make it a focus to have a bigger battery life, because Garmin can do it. And obviously that's not the same as the Apple Watch. The screens aren't as good and the fitness tracking isn't as good. But, it is possible. It's possible to get these ridiculously long battery life. Now, OnePlus have just come out with a watch, one that can basically run Android and, run all the smartwatch features, and one that can run a, limited down version of the software that basically just shows the watch display and just shows, the simple things. Because most of the time, I'd say in most days, I don't actually leave this screen here at all. It stays on the exact same screen, and it doesn't need everything else running in the background. As long as I can just see my notifications, not necessarily have to even interact with them, as long as I can just see all the notifications that are coming through on my wrist, I don't mind. And I think that would be a good thing for Apple to do, is they already make really efficient chips. They could make another chip that's super efficient, that just focuses specifically on notification management, and then have a completely separate one for the whole watchOS as a whole. But I don't think Apple will do this because this is a ridiculously over-engineered solution to a tiny problem in the grand scheme of things. Most people can put their watch on a nightstand. Most people don't even wear it through sleep tracking. I know I don't, but I just like to be able to have the watch on the side and not have to worry about charging it 24/7, or know that if I put my watch on charge, it's only going to take 10 minutes, and then once I put it on, I can leave it on for 2 days if I want to. Or if I go on a trip where I don't, I'm only going away for a day, I can at least have my watch on and have that battery life, that security, that safety there. So if I don't have my charger, it's not the be all and end all. If you have an Apple Watch and you think the same thing, please comment down below. Let me know your experiences with Apple Watches, because I know with mine, it's been very up and down. Each watch has given me a different experience, and it's also given me, more of a, kind of sweet spot and a heart, space in my heart for these watches, because I absolutely love the way they work. They work so well. They integrate with my ecosystem really well, on my MacBook, with my iPhone, with my AirPods. It all works so well. And I genuinely do think that, if you want to get a smartwatch and you have an iPhone, the Apple Watch is the only way to go. But if you did enjoy this video, please comment down below. Let me know what you think. It's been Harry. I'm out. Peace.